totally understand you're not interested in anything today, but I would not be doing my job if I didn't show you this. So it's a kind of an aggressive line that if you say with a smile, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't show you this. And people understand that. The other objection was, I'm too busy. I don't have any time to look around right now. We get this one a lot, and the easiest way to handle it is, hey, I totally understand. I'm going to get you in and out of here real quick. Not a big deal. By the way, I do have a few things I need to go over with your knives. So if you could budget about 5 to 10 minutes when you pick up the knives, I'm just going to go ahead and put a note on there and show them that you're writing the note. We'll just go over that when you pick up. Does that sound cool? And you get their permission, and when they pick up, you've got their knives hostage. And so as kindly as you can, be like, excuse me, we've got, the 5 to 10 minutes that we need to review here, and that's demoing the cheese knife, showing them how to use their knives, and showing them what pieces would finish off their set. So be the professional, ask for their permission. If you can't get them, on the drop-off, get them on the pickup. And those are my two, and I don't know, Ken or Dalton, whichever of you is ready to go.
I'm ready to go now. I can go. So the two objections that I have are I have what I need / don't need anything else. And the way that I handle that is, first of all, I say, oh, no problem, Mr. Jones, that's cool. So I always, find a way to agree with the customer, and it always disarms them. So not agreeing with them saying, yes, you're right, you don't need anything else, but agreeing with their statement and their general belief that's what they're saying. So, hey, no problem, Mr. Jones, I can understand that. Can I get your opinion on one of our new knives, on one of our new items really quickly while you're in here, though? So I always transition back to, hey, can I get your opinion real quick? People love to give their opinion, even on stuff that they don't think they're going to buy. And then I have them use the cheese knife, and if they already have the cheese knife, then I have them use the Santoku knives. And those are the kind of two things I want to get their opinions on, because if they have the regular style French knife, then I will show them the Santoku, explain the differences, and just want to get an idea of what they think. So first of all, I want to engage them with the items and in cutting under the guise of, I just want to get your opinion. Then they have an opinion, and it's usually, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So now the juices are flowing, and they ask how much it is, and it starts the conversation. So that's one way that I do it, if I can get them to engage with me, which usually is no big deal if you do it the right way. So again, no problem, Mr. Jones. I can totally understand where you're coming from. Can I get your opinion on one of our newer items real quick? Cool. And then you just get them to cut. The other thing that I do when they say that is I ask a couple of questions. One of my favorite questions is, hey, I phrase it two ways depending on what the situation is, and it's the, hey, what's next on your wish list? In this case, they're saying they don't have a wish list. So my question is then, what do you find yourself having trouble cutting sometimes? What do you find yourself having trouble with while you're cutting? And usually it's, squash or, the stuff that they just got done with. And in some cases it's all carving. Oh, my turkey was a mess. I didn't have the right. Okay, cool. So then you've now opened up the opportunity to start a conversation about whatever that is that they're having trouble with. And then the other way that I do it is I'll look at what they have, so what they brought me is for sharpening and service, and identify, hey, is this your whole collection? Most of the time it is. Okay, cool. If not, then I ask what they have at home. Okay, well, I notice you don't have anything to cut hard stuff. I notice you don't have a chopping knife, Mrs. Jones. When you have to cut, onions and garlic and stuff, how do you do it? Do you use your trimmer and just slice away, or, what do you do? And I dig in with them a little bit, ask a couple of discovery questions. So, again, there's kind of 3 different ways to handle it. Can I get your opinion? What do you have trouble with is the second way. And then, hey, I noticed you didn't have blank. So that's how I kind of handle I don't need anything. My whole collection is set. So I just, again, question and dig in with them, use some discovery questions. And then the other objection that I have to cover is I'll buy them at pickup or I'll buy them later. And the way that I usually handle that is I'll just ask them, hey, well, if I can give you a better deal, would you get them today? If I can give you a better deal, would you get them now? And usually the objection is, people, it's not really an objection. They really want to get it. They just are lazy and procrastinators. We all do it. So understand what I'll get it later usually means is just they're being lazy and they just don't want to do it right now. Well, tell you what, Mrs. Jones, what if I give you a better deal on it? Would you get it today? I don't know. What kind of deal can you give me? Well, I'll tell you what, we got right now. I know you really like the cheese knife. What's next on your wish list? Because we've got buy two, I can give you a gadget for free. Oh, okay. I didn't know you could do that. Okay, yeah. Well, let's look. What's next on your wish list? So the question I usually ask when they say I'll get it later is, well, if I could give you a better deal, would you get it today? And then the deal doesn't necessarily have to be on that one item. Although if it's just one thing they're looking at, I might throw in a small cutting board because it really doesn't cost me much of anything to do that, and close the sale today. Those are the things that I do. That's the way that I create those urgencies in those two situations. So go ahead, Dalton.
And you always make me feel like a new manager when I listen to you talk, because I feel like I always learn something. Good stuff. All right, so I had No Time and Busy. That was actually on my Chad, so we'll have a little bit of overlap there. And then recently purchased in the store. And so a couple things just to add to Chad's point about if they say they have no time or they're just really busy. The main thing is just to go against that by slowing the process down as best you can. And so depending on the way your store is laid out, most of us have a money island. I believe all of us do, somewhere away from the register. And the idea is you want to do return repair away from the register because that's where the sales process goes to end. And so you want to separate that, and you just want to get them doing something to slow that process down and make it known that you're working while you're talking. And so as an example, one of the things I'll have them do is I actually have the paper sheet, like just a print-off version of that, and I have them start by filling that out as I start working on their knives in a separate area, and I keep them over at Money Island where all the products and the cutting demos and everything are surrounded, and I just sort of keep them over there. And so it's just, while I get these ready for you, let me have you fill this out. While they're filling that out, I'll start sheathing the knives and just doing some of the miscellaneous tasks. And then as they finish that up, I'll come back over to them and I'll say something to the effect of, while I get you a copy made, feel free to just kind of look around. It should just take me a minute or so. And as they're sort of looking around the store, I'll slow down as I'm typing up the sheet. I'm not really going to go super fast because I want to watch them as they sort of peruse around and look at everything. And if they pick something up, if they stare at something for, a few seconds longer, they start bouncing on the mat, whatever it is, then I'll bring those things up. Oh, have you ever seen that before? Do you already have one of those? Whatever it is that they're looking at. I love Chad's point about I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you. What a great metric that would be to run to see how much Cutco have we all sold from using that line throughout our years in Cutco. So I thought that was really cool, and that's something that I don't currently say verbatim, so I really like that. But hey, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you, but, what do you currently have right now? And see what they've got, and then just try to get into it. If they don't, then Chad made a great point about preparing them for whenever they come back to take that time so that you can do that. And I would just take really good notes on their return repair sheet. But the main thing there just being to slow the process down. And then the main one I had was if they've recently purchased in the store, it's just about asking questions. Oh, cool. Well, what did you recently get? And so you have them show you, and then just ask them, so what do you use that for right now? Listen to what they have to say, and then ask them what else they have. Awesome. So what else do you currently have in your house? And what do you typically use this knife for? What do you use this one for? And so you kind of get an idea of what their entire collection looks like, and then just be straightforward and ask, so what else do you think you're missing? Like, what else could you use a knife for that you currently struggle with or don't have a good utensil for? And then what you want to do is you want to work towards completing a set or just simply filling a need, whatever that is. I typically ask them how they heard about the store and how they recently purchased. So did you just buy from like a college student, or did you see something in Costco, or whatever it is, and they'll tell you. And especially if it's a rep, like at a fair and show, or one of the kids just come to the homes, I explain the whole rep of record, just to kind of put their mind at ease that, hey, by the way, just so you know, Sally, who you just bought from, that's your neighbor's niece, anytime you buy anything in the store, since you just bought from her, she'll actually still get full credit for anything you buy in the store. So you never have to feel bad. And so if you're ever in a pinch or need like a last minute gift or something like that, you can always pop in here and she'll still get full credit for it. I'm like, oh, that's great, really. You know, and I would say a little less than half the time, they're typically actually wanting something, but maybe holding back depending on how recently that purchase was. Sometimes people say that and it was like a year ago. So, so just explain the rough of record concept and whatever the day's specials are. So, hey, just so you know, you don't ever have to feel bad, yada, yada, yada. And by the way, if you did want to get that cheese knife today that I know you really like, we do have a couple different specials going on that might be really good for you. But they're, you know, and then you can take the conversation from there. And if none of the stuff is working and they're just kind of like still giving you some resistance, the fallback then is just to explain all the non-Cutco products. You know, one of the great things about the store, by the way, aside from the free sharpening, is all the great non-Cutco products that we sell. And so then you can start showing them the mats, the cookware, the Vitamix, you know, grip sticks, all the different things, and just do the whole Kinkoker store tour and see if you can get them there. So those are a couple things I had.
Thanks, Ken and Dalton. Dalton, sorry I stepped on your toes there a little bit. I knew I had something. I had too expensive and really quick. For too expensive, I was talking with Cody about this the other day. If you have a rapport at all and you can smile, I almost kind of laugh at people when they say Cutco's too expensive if they already own it for 10 years. You know, you can ask Mr. McCready why Cutco is the best wedding gift of all time. And, you know, if you have an opinion otherwise, you will come out of that conversation feeling different because it's the only product that you've used for 10 years that you still have is in working condition and is basically like brand new, and you're going to use it for another 20 years. I don't remember Cutco being so expensive. Yeah, you know, gas prices probably weren't that expensive either in the 1990s, but the cool thing is, you know, if you spent $500-600 on your homemaker set in 1995, really, you know, would you have rented it for $5 a year? Oh, I guess when you put it that way, yeah, you know, it's just such an awesome investment. You bring up investment, bring up their experience. If someone says Cutco's too expensive and they already own it, it's because they don't have the value for it because they're not thinking about the value. So you just got to bring that up and ask questions. And, you know, I really wouldn't let that one rest until they're kind of smiling and shaking off their silliness.
That's great. Good. Does anyone have any questions for Chad, Dalton, or Ken?